Have you ever looked back and realized I was doing what I thought I should, but my soul was not in it at all? Today, I am sharing the things I did wrong at the start of my healing and creative journey, and more importantly, how I would do it differently now. Because if you are stuck, overwhelmed, or building something but it still does not feel like you, this might be why. First, I overperformed instead of being present. When I first started putting myself out there, sharing healing messages, creating offers, and trying to launch, I did not realize I was performing the whole time. I was over-explaining to sound credible. I was shrinking the depth of my truth to sound more digestible. I was trying to look like I had it together instead of just letting people meet me where I really was. And the result? I got burned out. I sounded fine, but did not feel seen. If I could go back, I would be way more honest, even when it is messy. Second, I avoided being too deep. I told myself I had to ease people in, that I could not go too deep because people would scroll past. But the truth? My people, the deep feeling, soul-seeking, soft but powerful ones, were not scrolling past because it was too deep. They were waiting for depth to show up at all. Your words, your medicine, will not be for everyone. But for the right people, it's the thing they have been waiting to hear. 3, I was building without and before anchoring. I tried to build a business around what sounded strategic instead of what felt sacred. I created for who I thought I should be serving, but skipped the step of anchoring into my own soul first. That disconnect, it leaked into every offer, every post, every attempt at momentum. Now I anchor before I share. I let clarity come from inside, not just from content plans. Now I am not confused. I am done pretending I do not see it clearly anymore. Have you ever noticed how often we say things like, I do not know what to do. I am just trying to figure it out. I feel so stuck. You know what is not working? You know what feels like a soul-crushing compromise. You know what is draining you. And deep down, you know what part of you is ready to rise. But we call it confusion because clarity can be inconvenient. It asks things of us. It disrupts patterns, relationships, comfort zones, and entire identities. Earlier this week, in a tarot pull, I pulled the Queen of Swords reversed. This card in reverse often shows up when we have been editing ourselves, shrinking, softening, biting our tongues to keep the peace, or protect someone else's comfort. It is the moment when emotional intelligence turns into self-erasure, when truth becomes too sharp to hold, so we dull it down. But here's the thing. The longer you delay clarity, the more your body starts to hold the weight of it. You will feel it as burnout, resentment, confusion, or even foggy fatigue. Not because you do not know the answer, but because you have been talking yourself out of what you do know. There is a very real cost to keeping the peace when your soul is screaming. And most of us, especially sensitive, deep-feeling, heart-led people, have learned to associate truth with danger. If I say what I really feel, someone will leave. If I show up fully, I will be too much. If I set a boundary, I will lose their love. But those are not truth statements. They are trauma responses. And the soul does not thrive in diluted environments. Clarity, even when it is messy or disruptive, is love in motion. It is the most sacred form of self-devotion you can offer when you are building something real. Let us name some of the noise we often confuse for truth. Overthinking disguised as strategy, self-doubt disguised as caution, codependency disguised as compassion, avoidance disguised as neutrality. Today's challenge is to sit with one simple question. What do I already know, but have been avoiding? That answer is your compass, not because it's easy, but because it is honest. And honesty clears the path forward when nothing else can. If this is the season where you're reclaiming your clarity, if you're done playing small or staying silent, let this be your affirmation. I am no longer confused. I am simply honoring what I already knew. You do not owe softness where truth is needed. You do not owe silence to people who demand your dimming. and you do not owe another day of pretending that fog is your natural state. So here's what I want you to reflect on today. What is one thing you would do differently if you could go back to the beginning? What is one truth you have been avoiding? What kind of clarity is trying to come through, but you have been muting it? Drop it in the comments if you feel safe to do so. Sometimes naming it out loud breaks the spell of denial. All of that. That is why I created the Soul Resistance Decoder. Because most of the time when we were stuck, burnt out, or unsure, it is not about strategy, it is about resistance. The emotional, energetic kind that hides underneath perfectionism, overgiving, burnout, and overplanning. If you have been trying to create or lead or show up, and it just is not flowing, this free guide can help you name what your soul is still carrying and how to release it. The link is in the description. You were born for more than surviving, so let's rise, reflect, and remember together. Until next time, may your soul stay curious, your path stay sacred, and your truth rise like stardust. Keep decoding your destiny, one cosmic clue at a time.